Thank you, Mr. Speaker, members of the House, and guests. I'm leaving the legislature after this session, and it will be 40 years that I've completed. And I'm going to the sidelines, not going to the bench, not going to the stands, but I'm going to be out there actively working in a volunteer way. And I want my last significant vote. I will not vote on another budget. I want my last significant vote to be the right vote. And so I've researched this issue, and I want to start with Representative Torr indicated that 22 states are right-to-work states. Representative Ellsperman confirmed that, 22 states. And I was thinking, as I remember, there are 50 states in this nation. So that means that there are 28 states, including Indiana, that are not right-to-work states, the majority. So using the 22 as an example, I think, is a poor example. The majority of states have not adopted right-to-work laws. And then I went to some of the mailings that I received, and the source of this map is the National Right to Work Legal Defense Foundation, proponents of right to work. And I looked at the states that were right to work states. And I hear the debate about what is or is not economically viable, what is best for a state. And as I looked, Representative Delaney gave you a brief synopsis of some of those states. But as I looked at the states that were right-to-work states, and I did a comparative analysis between how we fare in Indiana, a non-right-to-work state, compared to these right-to-work states. And again, I don't create my own sources of information, but recently we had a primary in the state of South Carolina. And in that primary, they indicated that that state was economically below Indiana in terms of employment, in terms of wages, and that came out of the Republican primary debates. Information that was available to all of us. South Carolina is not doing as well, a right-to-work state. There is going to be a primary in Florida. Florida unemployment rate is higher than Indiana's. Fact, right-to-work state. Florida is suffering from a greater degree of forfeitures than Indiana. And you can reasonably assume that the forfeitures are based on loss of income. People losing their homes based on lack of money in their pocket. The state of Nevada, again, a high forfeiture rate state, not information that I created, but fact. The state of Arizona, I heard Senator John McCain on CNN this morning, and if it's a lie, it come out of his mouth that referenced Arizona and Florida as being distressed states in terms of forfeitures. Again, you can reasonably assume the forfeitures are driven by a loss of revenue. The people's inability, losing jobs. We have a problem in Indiana, but not to the extent that they have it. I looked at the state of Texas, and I heard, again, not anything I created, not anything that I pulled out of the air. I listened, and they said the state of Texas had the highest job creation rate in the nation. State of Texas, based on all revenue. But a cogent fact that they pointed out in that dialogue was that the state of Texas job creation was fueled by public sector employment increases. And here in Indiana, Governor Daniels says we are, and I heard again on the media that Governor Daniels was selected to give the response to President Barack Obama's State of the Union based on the fact that we had the lowest number of public employees in the nation. Lowest number of public employees in the nation. But you look at all the right-to-work states, with the exception of the North Dakota and South Dakota, where they have all, if you look at Idaho, Wyoming, Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas, recently, Kansas, a right-to-work state, Boeing Corporation closed down one of their factories and moved 1,000 jobs from the state of Kansas, right to work, to the state of Washington, non-right to work, and Texas. The facts are that we are creating, we're doing something. I'm not a poker player. I'm not I don't shoot dice. I don't do anything. Only been on 3 riverboats in Indiana since its inception in 1993. And there, because social clubs that I belong to took a junket as a fundraiser to those things, so I don't go, never been to a casino in my life, don't know how to do that, but I do know that there's a vernacular that's involved in that called betting on the come. And they say betting on the come is not good odds. And I believe that what we're doing with this right to work bill is betting on the come. And if it don't come, our 2 largest revenue generators in the state of Indiana is the sales tax and the income tax. Both of them impacted by whether or not you have the income to engage in the discretionary spending to raise the revenue to run the needed services that state government has to give. I don't think that we've got a good, well thought out plan. I know that my vote won't make a difference, but the person that I most admire as an American is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And if you go on my website, which will be gone at the end of this year, I open with a quote from Dr. King that says, "Cowardice asks, is it safe? Vanity asks, is it popular? Expedience asks, is it politics? But conscience asks, is it right?" And I am pleased to say that I'm proud to cast a right vote, a no vote on right to work.
Representative Giacquina.